Well, Google just casually dropped the most powerful AI image editor we've seen to date. And I gotta say, just in time, because this banana was about to start going brown. But this is super exciting, considering, again, this model is very powerful. Perfect? No, but very good, kind of depending on where you're using it. We're gonna talk about that today. But the real wow factor here is that it's basically everywhere, unlimited, and from what I can tell, free. All right, let's get bananas. So about a week and a half ago, a mysterious new AI image editor popped up on the LM Arena leaderboards, codenamed Nano Banana. Many quickly took notice at exactly how good this new model was, and speculation began that it was actually, Google under the hood. This speculation was then furthered by a number of Google employees who began, posting up banana emojis. Then the Made by Google Pixel event happened with some nods that something was definitely coming in the way of photo editing. But finally today, the big news dropped. Yes, indeed, Nano Banana is Gemini 2.5 Flash Image, which is a terrible name. I'm going to keep calling it Nano Banana. Interestingly, via its longer test run on LM Arena, the fact that it kind of went like wildfire, of course, naturally, the Gemini 2.5 Flash image model debuted at #1 and apparently has the largest score jump in history. So this is literally the #1 AI image editing model in the world. But with the release of the model, well, we now know at least some details on what makes it so good. Because this is falling under the Gemini family, you can kind of think of it a little bit like the ChatGPT image model, in that this is not a dedicated image generator, say Imagen 4 or even Midjourney, that are making these edits. But rather, this is kind of the world understanding of Gemini at work here, because it is leveraging conversational image segmentation queries. Namely, again, because, if you want to make an edit on the man holding the umbrella there, the model is able to really hone in on that because, well, it not only knows what a man is, it knows what a Frisbee is, and it's able to see your image. And of course, because there's a large LLM component to this, it's able to identify kind of like more what I guess we would consider abstract concepts, like the area that should be cleaned up. Well, it knows that's an area that should be cleaned up. That is a mess. My kids don't know that, but Gemini does. All of that culminating in the fact that you can do more than basic edits, in all honesty, just using conversational language, and very quickly. Now, in terms of availability, again, shotgun approach. This thing is everywhere. Probably the easiest way for most people is via Gemini, either via the the website or the mobile app. I don't think they've put Gemini in Google Home yet, but I don't know. Let's wait a month. But you can also use it on Google's AI Studio. It's also on Fall, but it's also available on FreePic, Leonardo, Krea has it, Adobe's Firefly has it, which is interesting because we're going to be talking about them later this week. And yeah, overall, it is pretty cheap. Apparently, via the API, the cost is only just under 4 cents per image. And I do want to mention that you can still use it on LM Arena. And even better, we actually have a direct chat. I'll have a link to this down below. But yeah, you just come through and make sure that 2.5 Flash image preview is set here. And then, everything that you end up generating, again, for free, is, via Nano Banana. Nano Banana, it's still Nano Banana. Now on Gemini, it is clearly doing all of the various Nano Banana-y type things. So taking this stock image of this woman standing against a pink background and just asking change this woman's dress to green, we do indeed end up getting a very precise edit like we asked for. The woman stays the same. The dress is now green. Couple of notes. Of course, there is now this little watermark down in this corner. Not a huge deal because, again, we are still able to do all of our Nano Banana-y type things, like give me a top angle view of the woman in the green dress, and indeed, there she is. Once again, still the same person in a green dress, now completely different camera angle. It's pretty good. Now, as to the question, has this Gemini model been nerfed from what we were playing with in LM Arena? I've already seen a few conspiracy theories on that. I don't think so. Given that this is, the same output on the left, it's from LM Arena, on the right, obviously from Gemini, and they're pretty much the same. File raster size is exactly the same. Slight variations on the color green, but I didn't go crazy with like a hex code to say which green I was looking for. So no, I think it is the same model. Now I will note that I saw a little bit of like texture smoothing on an output that I ran today in Gemini as opposed to yesterday actually in LM Arena. I'm not going to look too deeply into this, though. I mean, there's lots of, the variety of factors that go into this, so I'm not going to drive myself crazy on this. Now, one thing that I'll say that I really enjoy about working in the Gemini app is the fact that it is kind of on the conversational side. For example, taking this piece of, once again, stock imagery, and then just asking, turn the camera around and show me what's across the street from this photo. We do end up with this image on return, and I mean, I give you, that's a softball, but I do like the fact that it actually goes through and like lets you know, hey, like this place doesn't actually exist. But that got me thinking, could we take an image like this? This is an actual photo that I took of, Diamond Head in Waikiki, and ask Gemini to extend this out to a 2:1 image. Interestingly, although it did not give me the 2:1 aspect ratio, Gemini, all of them actually seem to be very bad at aspect ratios. I'm not sure why, but it did give a little bit of an extension here, and actually a little bit of extension down here as well. And obviously the building here that didn't appear in my original photo, I'm actually not sure if that building exists right there. But it does look, obviously like it should belong there. But as always, working in AI, chatting with your photo editor it can be this combination of being both amazing and frustrating. Like when I asked it to turn the camera around 180 degrees, and it gave me this image, which is really impressive considering that is pretty much Waikiki. It is just definitely not the 180 degree view that you would see if you turned around on the beach. So it's pretty fascinating to see that Gemini knows where we are and is able to generate a sort of a, fictional, realistic version of the city that we are in, but still doesn't understand exactly where we are in the original photograph. Overall, I think places that the model does very well is when you provide it with like an initial image input and then start moving around within that environment. Some other places that I think the banana really shines is in things like object replacement, even with characters, as a friend of the channel, Alex Genius Media, showcases here, or with things like outpainting, as YouTube's own Matthew Berman showcases here, proving that the moon landing indeed was a hoax. Now, we'll talk about using Banana on a platform versus using it on Gemini, but I do have to say, one of the things that I like about using it on Gemini is in a situation like with this image, where what I was actually asking it to do was remove the light leak on the left-hand side, left-hand side. And Gemini came back with, I can't do that. I can't create images of real people. So I was just like, she isn't real. She's AI generated. And Gemini was like, oh, okay, well, let's do it then. I mean, the end result wasn't perfect. There's still just a little bit of light leak over here. But the fact that essentially I was able to appeal to it instead of just getting a straight, moderated no, I mean, that's kind of cool. So in terms of generating on external platforms, be it like Leonardo, Fall, FreePic, or in my case, I was trying it out on Krea, I don't think there is any particular difference. Like, it's not calling a different model or anything. What we don't end up with, of course, is a watermark. And apparently we can get edits on not Taylor Swift here making bread. I mean, it's not a great edit, but, it did work. But I guess what now seems exclusive to Gemini is the ability to multi-reference. So you used to be able to do this on Ella Marina. You cannot anymore. Provide it two images, say like Barbarian and handsome dude in a suit. And then with a prompt like create an image of these two characters meeting for coffee at a hip urban coffee shop. We do indeed get both of them hanging out at a hip urban coffee shop. What is this conversation about, do you think? Obviously, there's a lot more to uncover with this model. But like I mean, I've just done 3 videos in a row about Nano Banana. But really what I wanted to say with this video is that it is now out, it is wide, it seems to be free and unlimited. So obviously I will be continuing to play around with the model and collecting the best tips and tricks. And we'll circle back later on for like a full, real deep dive, heavy review on Nano Banana. We're gonna call it Nano Banana. But yeah, overall, I guess this brings my Nano Banana quadrilogy to a close. Overall, I'm just really happy that it is now out. It is available to everyone. And I mean, it is free. Yeah, this is a best case scenario all around. So yeah, we'll circle back later on. But in the meantime, I thank you for watching. My name is Tim.